You're all growing plants or working with plants, and observation is really key to it. So it's really important to look at the plant and try and see if you have a deficiency, where is it occurring in the plant. So if it's occurring in the tips of the plants, it's generally iron or calcium deficiency. And iron, will be like a yellow leaf. It's really obvious to see. Calcium deficiency, you'll see this browning around the leaf. Or if you're growing tomato plants, you'll get blossom end rot on the tomatoes. They're quite characteristic. Quite often, the whole plant can be a little bit pale, and that's probably nitrogen deficiency. They just need more feed, full stop. But one of the commonest things we see is magnesium deficiency in the older leaves. You get like a Christmas tree effect with green veins and yellow between it. And these are things that are quite easy to solve, but it's far better if you can anticipate it and put the feeds on before that. We have some posters which give you some of the deficiency symptoms, and there's also an online app you can look at and diagnose some of the problems you could potentially get. But we're always available to help with problems. We have a team around the country that can help with these sort of things. But I just said about trace elements earlier, they're required in very small quantities, but if you have too little, you'll get a deficiency, which is quite dramatic. This is boron, but too much, and you can also get a problem. So it's really important not to go carried away with these things and take some proper advice before you pump loads of iron onto a plant or boron if you think you've got a deficiency, because you might overdo it. And this is a good picture of iron deficiency. It's one of the commonest things I see in the tips of the new growth, and it's quite easy to sort out. But often it can be a symptom of other things. So always look at your plants really closely, and often it could be a sign of overwatering, or you could have a root disease. So a fungus could be attacking the roots, reducing the uptake of iron from the plant and causing a deficiency. So it might not just be nutrition, it could be another aspect. So always look at your plants, see if it's over all the plants or maybe just in a certain corner. It could be a drainage problem or a flooding problem, but it's just a good tip. But it affects lots of different plants, and you'll see this real yellowing in the tips of plants. And even on conifers you get this yellowing. So it's quite a common problem. And we mentioned molybdenum earlier. It's required in the least quantities in a plant. But if you have a pH problem, you see quite a dramatic effect in a Philadelphus, So this is why nutrition is important. And don't overdo it, because if you put too much fertilizer on, you can damage particularly young plants. But if it's warm and hot, just be really careful about putting fertilizers on, because you can cause scorching on the leaves, damage to the roots, and encourage disease.